What are some of the red flags then that both men and women can look out for in the opposite sex and, you know, potentially stop a bad relationship in the first place? I presume if you walk in, and from what you've just said, and you walk in and their place is a mess, it shows you that their headspace is a mess, right?
Yeah.
And I presume that if their body's in a mess, then presumptively your mind's in a mess too.
Mm-hmm.
What other things should people look out for?
I think what is their decision making in general, and this involves everything. What kind of decisions they make with their money, with their time, with everything they do. You look at their decision making. Now, if their decision making is responsible, it's sensible, it wants the best for them, and it helps them achieve their potential.
This is so critical, decision making. I actually call it their mind works right, or how their mind works. I don't think young people are taught to analyze people when they're talking to people, to analyze what's going on Instagram, on their Facebook. And in general conversations, you can see, obviously in the beginning you don't have insights into their actual lives, but you can see their minds do not work right. Their grasp and application of logic does not work right and is not skilled and brilliant. Find people in business, relationships, whose minds work brilliantly, because a lot of things flow from that control system. So who's holding the wheel of their mind? Is it a skillful, kind, wise mind, or is it a vindictive, negative, selfish mind?
What other things should people look out for?
I think what is their decision making in general, and this involves everything. What kind of decisions they make with their money, with their time. But if their decision making is so chaotic, or it doesn't add up, like 1 minute they're so good at business, but then they choose the most toxic partner in the world, or they're so good in their relationship, but then they gamble on the side. It's like there's something in your decision making that tells me about your traumas. So let's lean into that and have a look at your own decision making in your life and think, okay, I'm so disciplined when it comes to food. I'm so good when it comes to money. But when it comes to relationships, I just seem to make the worst decisions. Why is that? Or it might be the opposite. It's like, I'm so good at relationships. I'm so good at all of these things. But when it comes to business, I don't know. I make stupid decisions. Well, your decisions tell me where your traumas are.
When you want to ascertain more in depth on that, when you want to get really ingrained in, like, okay, now I've accepted that I've got this trauma, right? So I've accepted I've got this trauma. I know there's a trauma there, and get in there without having to go see anyone, or is that not possible?
You don't have to go see anyone. It doesn't necessarily have to happen. You can just, educate yourself online and stuff. But here's the problem. What the problem is, when people have traumas, or when their life is a bit of a catastrophe, the first thing they do is try and diagnose their partner. They will look on Google and say, signs my ex was a narcissist. And I get this all the time. I'll get on the phone call with a client. I just wanted to speak to you because my ex is a sociopathic narcissist. Pointless session.
Wow.
Pointless session.
I've literally just had flashbacks. I was dating this girl, and in the early days of this podcast, I was dating this girl, and I'd be having this brilliant day, and then she'd ring me up, and it just felt like she was just trying to start a war with me, starting an argument to cause this drama in my life. And I'm like, it's just like out of nowhere. Like 2 minutes ago, great. Like now there's this big world war starting.
She was a bit broken.
Yeah, she had. I think there was trauma in relation to her father growing up, and very beautiful, very good looking. Her mum and dad were still together, but because she was traumatized by her dad had hit her mum.
Okay.
Right? So there's trauma there. And she used to start the most randomest arguments with me.
What that is like when people are traumatized, what they do is they fight with their partner to test how much they will fight for them back. So really, when women are fighting like that, they don't actually want to fight. They want to test your level of love and attachment to them. So what may have been happening is you might have been busy in your podcast. You might have been sat at home. Maybe she saw that you liked a picture of a girl. Maybe she saw something that triggered her. And they'll start a fight, threaten to leave him. And if he begs me, then I feel good again. I can relax. It's a test.
I knew it.
And there's no way to win this test, by the way. As a man, there's no way to win.
I knew it was a test.
Yeah.
I knew it was a test. I didn't understand the psychological reasoning behind the test.
The psychological reason would be she's been triggered into thinking that at some point you're going to abandon her, so she wants to abandon you before you can get there first and test your response.
On a random Wednesday, that's going
on
through
a
her
random Monday morning. I would do it before 7 a.m. sometimes.
Would you agree that a man who is extremely attractive and a woman who is extremely attractive, when they get together, it's just going to be problems? Because the man might be insecure and jealous, and the woman might be the same.
It can work really well if they have no kind of concerns and they're happy to lock off all alternatives. We always match better with people who are equal to us. Always. Looks-wise, finances, right? Our equal. We always match better, and it's called the matching hypothesis. You actually last longer. The problem is these people tend to have too many alternatives. When problems arise, there's so many alternatives, and it doesn't even have to be other men or other women. It can be like, I'm going to go on holiday with my friends. Whereas when you meet people with very little options, you take the average person, when you go back to Leeds and you see couples that have been together for 20, 30 years since you were in high school and they're still together. But if you look at their options, it's less. They're actually more satisfied. So the less options you have, the more invested and satisfied you are in your relationship. So it's actually, unfortunately, more options doesn't mean more happiness.
Yeah, because I think if you have more options, you have more desire. And if you don't fulfill those desires, then you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah, and also when you have more options, you have less tolerance. You're thinking, you can't talk to me like that. I've got so many other guys. Or you're thinking, she can't deny me. I've got so many other options. And so it's that you have low tolerance for flawed behavior.
Avoid becoming obsessed with finding the physically perfect person who conforms to current standards. Instead, channel your energy into discovering a life partner who stands out for their intelligence, a person capable of becoming your best friend, a trusted advisor, a solid support in the face of adversity. Avoid fixating exclusively on one person, especially if that person shows no interest in you. Sometimes we invest in people who don't reciprocate our feelings, wasting valuable time and sacrificing parts of our essence in an attempt to gain their approval. According to historical philosophy, we should learn to accept what's beyond our control, and we certainly can't change or force someone's feelings towards us. Remember that there's a multitude of people in the world, and a rejection simply indicates that the specific person couldn't recognize your true potential and the value you have to offer. In reality, you're not experiencing a loss. A rejection could be a sign of incompatibility that you might not realize at the moment, but time will help you understand and even be grateful for. So don't be discouraged, persist. There are numerous individuals in the world who will genuinely value and appreciate your authenticity and potential.
I think this is extremely important. Many people are really down when someone they like doesn't like them. Obviously, a person must then just take that in perspective. There are many millions of people, billions of people all over the world. And you can actually be grateful because this is a sign of incompatibility. The person does not see the potential within you. Obviously, if you're working to bring out potential and you're not just watching series, sitting around wasting your time, then no one will see any potential because the truth is there is no potential you are working to bring out. But this is really a freeing concept. Be thankful for those people who do not like you, because also in working relationships and romantic relationships, because it shows incompatibility, and every one of those you cross off, the closer you are to the person who really, really sees your potential.
Do you get nervous speaking to girls in person?
Not anymore. I used to, though.
Did you? Why?
Because it was, don't know, maybe it was just a fear of rejection.
But who cares if she rejects? There's a
million
others.
I think if it really
imagine.
is.
As a girl, we don't have to experience
that. No, it's hardcore. Yeah. And if, let's say, for example, maybe you do that 2 or 3 times, you get shot down 3 times, your confidence is going to be like rock bottom.
But does it sometimes make you immune to getting rejected?
But that's why I recommend guys just keep doing it again.
You get immune to it.
When you do it so often, you do become immune to it. So that's why you should do something that scares you every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. You become immune to it, and you'll find that you'll get rejected by one girl, and then another girl who's better looking than her will be responsive. So it's not really. The thing is, men personalize rejection.
Avoid fixating exclusively on one person, especially if that person shows no interest in you. Sometimes we invest in people who don't reciprocate our feelings, wasting valuable time and sacrificing parts of our essence in an attempt to gain their approval. According to historical philosophy, we should learn to accept what's beyond our control, and we certainly can't change or force someone's feelings towards us. Remember that there's a multitude of people in the world, and a rejection simply indicates that the specific person couldn't recognize your true potential and the value you have to offer. In reality, you're not experiencing a loss. A rejection could be a sign of incompatibility that you might not realize at the moment, but time will help you understand and even be grateful for. So don't be discouraged, persist. There are numerous individuals in the world who will genuinely value and appreciate your authenticity and potential. What I mean is that there's more than one opportunity. Remember that every no you receive brings you one step closer to that yes that will change your life. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, known for his wisdom and love for historical philosophy, shared his life with a woman of equal emotional and mental stature. Together, they formed one of the most powerful and respected couples in Roman history. Faustina was more than just the emperor's wife. She was his life companion, confidant, and equal in many aspects. The depth of their relationship and the mutual price they paid were reflected in their correspondence and the significant decisions they made together. The relationship of Marcus Aurelius and Faustina tested the historical principles they both cherished and applied in their lives. They practiced temperance, justice, courage, and wisdom, the cardinal virtues of Stoicism, not only in their governance but also in their personal relationship. They faced adversity together, maintaining calm and rationality amidst political and personal crises. Despite being an emperor, Marcus Aurelius faced the loss of many of his children and the constant pressure of leading the Roman Empire. In the midst of it all, he found solace and support in Faustina. From a historical perspective, love is a choice, a conscious commitment. We can all learn to love in this manner, choosing our partner not solely based on physical appearance or financial status, but on character, integrity, and the ability to be a true life companion.
One thing I really have found is how many women cheat on men, and how many men accept the unacceptable when it comes to women. And I was explaining this to my friends, I have a bunch of really beautiful, wonderful friends, male, female, everything. And I think I never realized that we are a certain type of a subcategory. I thought everybody was like us. I thought everybody doesn't tolerate nonsense, and I thought everybody's like that, but I didn't realize that there's levels to it. And there's people out there, there's men out there that accept the unacceptable when it comes to women. And I always knew women do that. I always knew that, okay, women have a bad boy phase, or women have guys that may leave them on red. I was aware of that because you always hear about it on social media, or men are trash. I always knew that men are naughty. And the type of men I know, okay, I'm sure you're up to nonsense. I never knew how bad it is for men when it comes to dating. But they accept the unacceptable. The men I'm around don't accept the unacceptable. So I know, and I always knew, if I did a certain behavior, if I did something like this, the type of man I want would never accept it. But there are men out there that will allow a woman to cheat again and again, be promiscuous, go out, disrespect him, and he'll still beg her for attention. I didn't know that existed until I started doing social media stuff.
So where are you seeing this more prevalent? Is it more of a
younger generation?
Yeah. Between what ages?
I would say between 18 to 30.
So anyone 18 to 30 is practically now got no hope of finding a woman then, in essence.
No, it's not that they have no hope of finding a woman. They have no boundaries. What's happened is they've grown up on porn. This is I know I bring everything down to porn, and you can really tell I'm an advocate against pornography.
For religious reasons, I can't talk about porn.
Do you know what it is? I think if I had one goal in life with this whole social media thing, it would be to remove the obsession with pornography because of what it does to children. So what happens is the 18 to 30-year-old man grew up on pornography. Whereas a guy a bit older, maybe in his 30s, what happened is, of course he watches porn and watched porn. I'm not naive. But there was an element of like, dad's coming home, can't watch porn right now, or mom's going to find my magazines, or how do I get that top shelf magazine? It's so embarrassing. The guy knows my dad. I can't buy it. You know, there was so much like, when it comes to watching porn. Whereas now, headphones in, bedtime, pornography, children. 11 years old, 12 years old, children. So what happens is their brain is being sculpted into thinking that women are just for sexual purposes and they are hypersexual and this is normal. So when they meet a woman who is engaging in so much promiscuous behavior, either online, offline, in person, whatever, they don't get the same triggers. They don't think, whoa, she's probably not going to be loyal. They think this is how women come. So they accept the unacceptable when it comes to relationships.
So much in that you can unpack, like, you know.
I'm good, aren't I?
Honestly, like you've literally broke it down in such a way that it's so true, isn't it? When you look at society and how society's moved over the last few years.
So before I read these scriptures, you can see what this woman says. Sin, pornography, is destroying people's lives. The Bible warned us. Look at these scriptures here. How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word. With all my heart I have sought you. Do not let me stray from your commandments. I have hidden your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you. So it's proactive. It's not just avoiding pornography or sin, but it is being proactive in being committed to your Bible study and prayer. Look the bottom part there. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You need a new mind away from pornography and sin. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.